Hello again, CJHS students. This is Mr. Rock with another video. This time the topic is the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. I wonder if it has something to do with shoes. So here is a review of the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, the Pythagorean theorem states that if a triangle is right. So what we are saying is the triangle must be a right triangle. That's what we begin with. We begin with a triangle that is right. Then the sum, here's the sum, of the squares of its legs. So here we have the sum. Here we have one leg, and we square it. Here we have the other leg, and we square it. Okay, so this is the sum of the squares of the legs equals the square of the hypotenuse. So here's the hypotenuse. Here's the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so the order is important here. We start with a right triangle. We assume that that's true. And then we conclude that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, that's the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so the converse of the Pythagorean theorem starts with if you have three numbers and you put them into this equation, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then they can be the sides of a right triangle. All right, so we start with the three numbers, a, b, and c. We put them into this equation, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If these three numbers work in this equation, then we can say the triangle is right. So this is a different order, right? The Pythagorean theorem starts with a right triangle. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem ends with a right triangle. All right, so here's an example of how to do this kind of problem. It says, can the numbers 9, 40, and 41 be the sides of a right triangle? Well, we're going to use the converse of the Pythagorean theorem to answer this. So my three numbers are 9, 40, and 41. I'm going to put them into the equation. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 9 squared plus 40 squared equals 41 squared. By the way, the biggest number, 41, must be in the place of the hypotenuse. Because with any right triangle, remember, the longest side is always the hypotenuse. So the biggest number always goes in the place of the hypotenuse. So let's see here. This is 81. This is 1600. This is 1681. 41 to the second power, that's 1681. Since both of these numbers are the same, what I can conclude is that these three numbers do make a right triangle. So to make my point clear, what you can do is you can draw a right triangle. One leg would be 9, another leg would be 40, and the hypotenuse would be 41. All right, so that is the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. All right, something that you should ask yourself is, you should ask yourself, how are the Pythagorean theorem and its converse the same? How are those two ideas the same? And how are those two ideas different? I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with the order of the if-thens. The if-thens are the same, but they are in a different order. Anyway, I'll let you figure that out. This is the end of this video. Good luck with your assignment.